In the headlines, Bamidele Umahi Alindume emerged as principal officers in the 10th Senate as Speaker of the House of Representatives unveils principal officers in the Green Chamber. 9 rescued as building under construction collapses in Abuja. JAMB bans UTME candidate for 3 years after allegations. And on the foreign scene, Senegal's President Macky Sall rules out third-term bid after deadly protest. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We saw the update in Abuja. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced new principal officers for the 10th Senate, announcing that they both emerge as consensus candidates. The new officers are for the Senate include Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele from Ekiti State as Senate Leader, Senator Dave Umahi from Ebonyi State as Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Alindume from Borno State as Chief Whip, and Senator Lola Ashiru from Kwara State as Deputy Chief Whip. Akpabio also announced the names of minority principal officers in the Senate. They are Senator Simon Davu of Plateau State from Plateau North on the platform of the PDP as Minority Leader, Oyewumi Olarere of Osun West from PDP as Deputy Minority Leader, Darlington Nwokeocha of Abia Central of the Labour Party as Minority Whip, and Rufai Hanga from Kano Central of the NNPP as Deputy Minority Whip of the Senate. In the same vein, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, on Tuesday revealed the new principal officers of the 10th House of Representatives. They include Julius Ihonvere, APC Edo State House Majority Leader, Halims Abdullahi of APC from Kogi State as Deputy Majority Leader, Bello Kumo of APC from Gombe State as Chief Whip, and Adeumi Onanuga, APC Ogun State for Deputy Chief Whip. Abbas also read a letter from the Minority Caucus which details the names of the principal officers to include Kingsley Chinda of the PDP as Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Alia Madaki of the NNPP as Deputy Minority Leader, Ali Issa, PDP Minority Whip, and George Ebizemao of the Labour Party as Deputy Minority Whip of the House of Representatives. Now, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has met with all resident electoral commissioners at the commission's headquarters in Abuja. The meeting is the first open for coverage since the 2023 general elections were concluded. On the agenda, the meeting is expected to review the February general elections and also discuss preparations for the off-season governorship elections in Kogi and Imo states in November this year. The electoral body said it will hold a post-elections review for the just concluded 2023 polls from July 4th to August 5th. INEC spokesperson Festus Okoye stated that the electoral umpire said the review will commence with a meeting of the resident electoral commissioners and end with the commission's retreat. The commission has been holding these reviews after every general election since 2011. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, the review will focus on all aspects of the electoral activities before, during, and after the elections. Now, 9 out of the 20 persons who were feared trapped in the rubble of a 4-story building that collapsed on Monday in Dakpe in Life Camp, Abuja, have been rescued. The building, which was under construction as of the time of the collapse, is said to be owned by one of the top hoteliers in the territory. According to eyewitnesses at the site, the hotel, which has underground facility, had no fewer than 20 persons trapped under the rubble. While emergency responders and security personnel were on ground for rescue operations, officials of the FCT Emergency Management Agency said 9 persons have so far been rescued.
Jama'a dan Allah ko nake so dan Allah dan Annabi ku ya kuri na ku ce zo mu rescue ne dan Allah dan Annabi. Okay, but this is not the time now.
You know, sir, should they match this anyhow? You just shoot a lot. I bet no pressure coming here. Okay, but this is not the time now. You know, sir, should they match this anyhow? You just shoot a lot. I bet no pressure coming here. Match this anyhow. You just shoot a lot. I bet no pressure coming here. I bet, sorry.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has lined up 60 vehicles to convey over 10,000 farmers to their ancestral farms in Damboa local government area of the state. This is coming less than a week after insurgents perpetrated 2 different attacks in the council area, where they killed 8 farmers in Wulari Bridge and 7 on their farms in Bulajimbam area of the local government. The governor, who took up the challenge to lead by inspecting the road ahead of the farmers, made a stopover and interacted with the military and farmers on how the process would be facilitated with ease. He urged the military to consider the farmers' population to avoid subjecting them to the rigors of checks that would consume more time.
Screening each and every sundry that here will take at least 3 to 4 hours. And this is never feasible. And therefore, I'm urging the Nigerian army to look into the possibility of allowing the farmers to go to their farmlands so that they will farm. Because food insecurity is the worst form of insecurity. We must address the challenges of insecurity, the root causes of insecurity, which are not limited to increasing poverty, increasing infrastructural deficit, and increasing climate vulnerabilities.
Now, the police in Zamfara State have vowed to arrest suspected hoodlums who invaded Kadamusawa village and killed 6 persons. A statement by the police command, a public relations officer, Assistant Superintendent Yazid Abubakar, explains that the police received information from the district head of Kotorkoshi, Bello Umar, about a large number of unidentified armed men suspected to be local armed volunteer group popularly called Ensake, invaded Kadamusawa village under the town and started shooting sporadically, which led to the death of 6 persons with 4 others sustaining injuries. The police say the injured victims have been taken to Kotorkoshi Primary Healthcare for medical attention, while one of the injured victims died in the hospital facility. The police public relations officer says the police is working hard to fish out the culprits and bring them to justice. The Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Bunu, appeals to relatives of victims to continue exercising patience that will allow the authorities to handle the situation. Soldiers from the 35 Artillery Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Alamala, on Tuesday carried out an environmental sanitation exercise along Lafenwa Rounder Road in Abeokuta North local government area of Ogun State. The exercise was part of the activities marking the Nigeria Army Day celebration. The soldiers temporarily dropped their guns for sanitation equipments like brooms, shovels, rakes, and headpans and swept the road alongside members of the National Youth Service Corps. They cleared garbage which littered the road and filled some bad portions of the road with stones. The commander, 35 Artillery Brigade, Alamala, Brigadier General Muhammad Aminu, told newsmen that the Army always identifies with its immediate environment during the celebration. Aminu, represented by the Garrison Commander, 35 Artillery Brigade, Alamala, Colonel Legborosi Nule, noted that it was important to bridge the gap between the Army and its host community. A magistrate court sitting in Yenagoa has ordered for the remand of a 30-year-old man, Kingsley Solomon, at the Nigeria Correctional Center, or Kaka, in Yenagoa, for allegedly stealing a 2-month-old baby in Azikoro town in Yenagoa local government area of Bayelsa State. The order to remand him was given by Chief Magistrate of Court 15 in Yenagoa, presided over by Sarah B.I. Avo, the Chief Magistrate 2. The police first information report further reveals that Solomon, who claimed to have had an affair with Joy during her early pregnancy at a brothel, is not the rightful father of Success Alfred, the newborn baby. Solomon, who pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charges of assault and baby stealing, will have to spend at least 15 days in the correctional facility before he will appear before the magistrate court on July 18, 2023. The Kano State Fire Service says it has saved 26 lives and property worth 17 million naira from 22 fire outbreaks recorded in the month of June. This is contained in a statement by the Public Relations Officer of the service, Saminu Abdullahi, in a statement released on Tuesday in Kano. Abdullahi disclosed that 9 persons died while property worth 6.7 million naira were destroyed by fire outbreak during the period under review. The spokesperson advised members of the public to handle fire with care and continue to clear their drainages to avoid unforeseen circumstances. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. We take a look at why university students are unhappy with the new tuition fees increment. Details coming up ahead after the break.
Part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back to the news update on Trust TV. Here's a quick recap of our top stories at this hour. Bamidele Umahi, Alin Dume emerged as principal officers of the 10th Senate as Speaker of the House of Representatives unveils principal officers in the House of Reps. 9 have been rescued as building under construction collapses in Abuja. Now, amid the controversy trailing the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination result obtained by Ms. Ejikeme Mesoma, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has insisted that her result is, quote, patently fake. On Sunday, Ejikeme was accused by JAMB for forging her 2023 UTME result, a claim she denies. However, in a statement on Tuesday, JAMB spokesperson Benjamin Fabian said the body has withdrawn her result and consequently barred her from writing the examination for the next 3 years. The examination body also reassured Nigerians that its systems was neither tampered with nor compromised, as the candidate simply falsified a copy of a result slip of a candidate named Asimiu Mariam Omobolanle, who sat for the examination in 2021 and scored 138 points. Well, in other news, students of the University of Jos have been lamenting the recent hike in tuition fees by Nigerian universities, saying the increase would negatively affect their education. The students who spoke to Trust TV in Jos also say the hike in registration fees is not a welcome development. Ado Musa completes the story.
As a follow-up to the official increment in tuition, some federal and state-owned universities have issued official statements notifying students of an upward review of the school fees that students are expected to pay for the next academic session. But the students say the increment will prevent them from pursuing their academic dreams, adding that unless something is done, the increase will force many students out of school.
Some of the students may drop out as a result of the increment because some of the students, they are the ones sponsoring themselves.
The amount that we have presently, some people are not able to afford. By now, up to now, some people have not yet paid their school fees. And when there is this increment, I don't think some students will continue to study.
Students are struggling. People are struggling. Considering the economic problem that people are facing, the challenges people are facing, it's not kind of funny for everybody.
The students, however, call on the federal government to intervene in order to enable ordinary Nigerians have access to tertiary education.
Nigeria is not owned by the rich. It's owned by both the poor and the rich. So we are calling upon the government to please to consider the poor people.
If it's through a grant to help the student with, so that they can sponsor their education, I think it will be a better approach.
Yeah, the palliative will help in terms of granting the student loan, as I earlier said, and then I think the fuel increment too should be looked into in terms of just the way maybe organizing buses for students to be able to come to school. Yeah,
the federal government have to just step into this. They have to take drastic action to make sure that everything fall in place. Imagine paying from 45, then it is being increased not ×2 but more than ×3.
They said if the increase in registration fees comes to stay, coupled with the harsh economic realities of the now, it will be difficult for children of the average and poor Nigerians to access formal education in the country. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Well, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, on Monday met with the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, assuring him of the federal government's commitment to sustain bilateral relations to boost development between the two countries. Director of Information in the Secretary to the Government of the Federation's office, Willie Bassi, said this in a statement. Akume said that Nigeria has been enjoying strong bilateral relations with China in the areas of infrastructure, trade, agriculture, among many others, while soliciting their support to invest more in Nigeria to enable the present administration accomplish its renewed hope agenda. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation assured that the cultural cooperation between Nigeria and the People's Republic of China through cultural exchange will also be sustained to help in cementing the relationship between both countries. The Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Chu Jingchong, while presenting 3 documents to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, assured Nigeria of the commitment of the Government of the People's Republic of China to support the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the workable development strategies that would turn around the nation's fortune. He expressed his readiness and commitment to work with the present administration and further deepen the bilateral relations between Nigeria and China. On the foreign scene, Senegal's President Macky Sall has declared that he will not run for a 3rd term in next year's election, ending years of uncertainty over his political future that has fueled deadly opposition protests across Senegal last month. In a speech carried live on his official Facebook page, Sall maintains that Senegal's constitution would have allowed his candidacy despite having already been elected to a 2nd term in 2019. Rumors that the 61-year-old leader would try to extend his stay in power have led to bouts of unrest since 2021, in which dozens have been killed, shaking Senegal's reputation for calm in a restive region. President Sall was first elected in 2012 for a 7-year term after prevailing against then-President Abdoulaye Wade, whose decision to seek a controversial 3rd term prompted violent street protests and demonstrations across the country. Now, at least 4 people were killed and 2 children wounded in a mass shooting on Monday night in the U.S. city of Philadelphia, the latest chapter in the country's gun violence crisis. Those killed were all males aged between 20 and 59. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw told journalists in a statement, while the 2 children wounded were aged between 2 and 13. Police apprehended the suspected shooter, a 40-year-old who was wearing a bulletproof vest and was armed with a rifle and a handgun near the scene of the shooting in the city's Kingston neighborhood. Local media footage showed police had cordoned off an extensive crime scene. Monday's shooting was at least the 341st that the United States has recorded this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive, with at least 21,696 people killed, including 12,144 suicides so far this year. Well, you're still watching the news update on Trust TV. We'll be back with more news after this short break. Join us again. Right, welcome back to the news update. Thank you very much for staying with us. We take a look at developments in sports now, and we start with the NBA, where all-star guard Anthony Edwards has agreed to a 5-year designated rookie maximum contract extension that could become worth $260 million with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Since being selected with the #1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, Edwards has developed into an explosive offensive player, averaging 24.6 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.4 assists in his 3rd season. Still just 21, Edwards has become the go-to player for the Timberwolves in high-pressure moments and averaged over 30 points per game in his team's playoff series against the eventual champions, the Denver Nuggets, last season. Edwards has scored the 4th most points in NBA history by a player before turning 22 years old, sitting just behind only LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony on the list, and is the only NBA player with 1,500 points and 100 steals in each of the past 2 seasons. In tennis, Novak Djokovic dried the court with his towel and urged the crowd to, quote, blow in the farcical rain delay as his Wimbledon title defense begins with a win. Djokovic beat Argentina's Pedro Cachin 6-3, 6-3, 7-6 and 7-4 on center court. But after the first set, there was no play for about 80 minutes, despite the closed roof at the Wimbledon, with Djokovic dabbing the grass before ground staff used leaf blowers. Djokovic, aiming to secure his 8th Wimbledon title and match Roger Federer's record for a male player, will now play Australia's Jordan Thompson, ranked 70th in the world, following his 5-set win over American Brandon Nakashima, 55th in the world. Djokovic, who has not lost on center court since being beaten by Andy Murray in the 2013 final, was a breakup in the first set, but complained that the surface was getting slippery with drops of rains falling. If he keeps winning, Djokovic will not have to play a top 30 ranked opponent until the 4th round at the earliest. And that sums up the news update at this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free to join us across our social media platforms and do catch up with our YouTube live stream. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.